Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is RX from Elite Bricks. Today we're going to be going over a topic that's not only affecting us today in the sneaker community, but just in general, in the world as a whole. We're looming towards this recession. You know, the economy is headed towards downfall. Everything else is expensive. Inflation is rising. Gas prices are rising. With a lot of this fear, uncertainty, and doubt of what's going to happen in the future, a lot of people in the sneaker market are being very wary with what they purchase. You think back to the COVID days when people were getting their stimmy checks and a lot of money was flowing through e-com and online, because that's all that people really did was buy things online. You know, there was no care in the world buying a pair of sneakers, Jordan 1s for the high. You know, it was super easy back then. And now with a looming recession, you know, you kind of have to be a lot more thoughtful of what you cop and what you buy, right? A lot of people these days are uncertain about the future, and they're being really careful about what they purchase in the case that they do need something. And you know, while sneakers are to a lot of people a big hobby and an addiction, you know, and sometimes they say that they do need these shoes, you don't need these shoes to live, right? You can see these sneakers more so as an asset more than anything. But you know, if you don't have any money to invest right now, if you don't have a savings, you know, a lot of people are really trying to allocate that money and spend it towards things that are actually needed, the actual necessities of life. You know, paying for food to be put on the table or shelter or whatnot. You know, that's what people are really worried about nowadays. So with the looming recession, there's a lot of talk of there being a recession also within the sneaker community. Recently on the sneaker market, there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of discounted shoes, or shoes that should have a lot higher value than they do have right now. I'm gonna be talking about the top 3 shoes that you could take advantage of during this sneaker recession. If you do have the extra money to spend, you know, and are looking for a sneaker investment, these top 3 sneakers are a good play to look at during the sneaker recession. So let's get into it. So starting off, a lot of people in the sneaker community do agree that these patent breads are probably the top shoe that you can invest in right now during the sneaker recession. If you look at the prices on the market, they're almost nearing retail. And if you're in Elite Bricks, members actually had access to this shoe at $190. Now they did peak right after Christmas at around $300 to $350. So if you were within the group and you were able to get that pricing at $190, you would have profited $100 plus within the first few weeks of sales. And as you can see right now, it's kind of flatlining, right? We haven't ever seen a Jordan 1 of this particular hype. I mean, it's a bread Jordan 1 that was dropped on New Year's in December during peak season, and right now it's nearing almost retail. That's almost unheard of. As you can see here, these are probably people who are able to invest in these. After this recession looms and the market starts recovering, you could almost expect these shoes to reach over 300 and possibly 400, settling in that range if you look at prior history. Perfect example right here. These Jordan 1 bread toes were following almost the same trend when they did release. So they were hovering around the 300 mark, and then they exploded to around 400 to 500, and now currently are over 600, right? These are the bread toes. These do follow the same sort of colorway as these patent breads, right? So anything with a Chicago colorway, you can almost expect there to be that iconic value and that high price point in the future. The fact that these are going for almost retail is insane. These are a really good buy, and I would rate these number 1 on the list of shoes that you can look at to purchase during the sneaker recession. Number 2, also taking a look at the grade school patent breads. These are also hovering towards retail, with a lot of the smaller sizes going for 140, 150. You know, these are definitely going to rise in price as well, as they're flatlining around the 200 mark. Shoe number 2 on the list would have to be the Cool Gray 2021s. These shoes dropped in December. These are the annual model of the Jordan 11s. And you know, in particular, they retailed at $220. We also dropped these within the group with access for under market prices. So if you were in Elite Bricks, you could actually get these shoes at under market, and you didn't have to wait for the sneaker recession to happen. But regardless, you know, this is still a good time to buy them at, and they're only getting lower. As you can see, they're on a downwards trend, and they might even hit 250. So at that price point, you're talking about basically retail, right? You buy these shoes online or on sneakers, you pay $225. After shipping and taxes, you're paying $240, $250. You can look here at the OG model, the 2010s, and these shoes obviously have skyrocketed all throughout the years, right? These are a classic shoe, classic model. Cool Gray is also an iconic colorway in the sneakerhead world. So you can almost always count on this shoe to raise in value throughout the years, right? This is a classic shoe. It's the 20th anniversary of this shoe. It debuted in 2001, and all of these OG models have only accumulated values throughout the years. So if you're buying these for almost retail, then you can almost expect these to double in price with the years to come if you have that money to invest. And you know, these shoes are assets. You can definitely think of them as assets and stocks. So if you're wanting to pull 100% ROI on something, you know, shoes might be it. And these iconic models, you know, you got to kind of know the game, the sneaker game, what has been retroed, you know, what has previously dropped in prior years. All that stuff takes into account in terms of its value and everything. So with this model being from 2001, one of the most OG colorways of an Air Jordan 11, and it is a Jordan 11 patent leather, you know, it was a holiday release. People are going to want this shoe when the recession is over and they have some money to spend. So this is definitely number 2 on the list, the Jordan 11 Cool Grays. Now you could kind of see a similar trend here with the playoff bred 11s. Now obviously this was a different time. There was no COVID that could affect this shoe, and also recession looming, but it will follow a similar trend because all Jordans do so, right? So if you see here, a lot of people were panic selling or quick selling these, so the velocity was going up and the price was going down. And then as you can see, when the market started to marginalize, get slimmer, and there's a lot more demand than supply, prices started to skyrocket up. It was just an upward trend. So these classic Jordan 11 models, they're going to settle around the $350 to $400 range eventually, right? Once everything recovers, they eventually are. The last model I want to talk about are these Jordan 4 Retro Military Blacks. This is probably the cleanest colorway a Jordan 4 has ever had in recent years, and with the plain black, white, and gray upper, you can't go wrong. You know, it follows a lot of influence from these right here, the military blue 4s, and you can only see the prices of these, right? These are super rare. They go up in value, and honestly, why can't these hit that price or point or even more? You know, they're even more subtle colorway. You can match them with a lot more fits. They're just super clean to look at. They almost look like the white cement. So, you know, these people right here who are buying 700 in the last 3 days, very smart, you know, if they're able to do so. And the trend is that these are only going lower and lower, and you can kind of tell in the value of the shoe, right? These were around a $450 shoe, and then they started withering down around the drop to $350. Now that's really good for a base Jordan 4 model that's not iconic, but the fact that it's dipping towards retail prices right now might be a good sign to buy. If these ever go under $300, then it is a great shoe to look at for the future. Let's say a target price point would have to be around $250, right around retail. And I could see them getting to that point because with this being a recent release and the recession is right around the corner, you know, it's going to hit the market hard. And so a lot of people are going to want to dump their pairs for cheap because they don't want to hold on to this shoe just to get what, $20, $30, $40 profit. They're going to want to quick sell this shoe as soon as possible. So I would keep an eye out for this shoe if you can. The Jordan 4 Retro Military Black, number 3 on the list of shoes to look for during the sneaker recession. I hope you enjoyed that video right there. Stay tuned and follow Elite Bricks. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below if you're interested in learning more about sneakers as well as more sneaker news. Follow our Instagrams and all of our platforms. And with that being said, my name is RX from Elite Bricks. I hope this video really gave you some value. Definitely be smart with your money. It's not financial advice at all. We're just encouraging this and trying to give some plays for people to buy during this recession if they do have extra money to do so. So that being said, RX from Elite Bricks. Stay tuned for more videos. With that, we out. Peace, guys.